climate champions. Welcome to another episode of the Climate Network with me, Deepsha Dhar. Today, we are thrilled to have a trailblazer in urban planning and sustainable mobility with us, Sarika Panda Bhatt. She's not only the associate director at Nagaro, but she co-founded the revolutionary Rahagiri movement, India's longest-running urban movement. She's an accomplished architect and urban planner, working in the field of urban developments, transport, environment, and architecture. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you for coming. What does a climate resilient city look like to you? And what are the key elements that make a city sustainable? How can the cities be designed to reduce their carbon footprint? I mean, what is the role of urban planning in all of it?
It is all about urban planning, because when we plan a city, generally we don't plan a city in India, but if we are planning a city, we need to plan everything. For example, land use. We need to consider land uses. Where our workplace are, where is our education center, where is our recreational center, and along that we need to plan our mobility. So, cities are engine of growth, but mobility is basically the key factor for that growth, and we cannot isolate these two things. So, building a sustainable city, or also right now not so sustainable city, is all about planning, a better planning.
How did you get into urban planning and sustainable cities?
So I did my architecture, and then in the architecture also, my inclination is towards cities. I studied in Cuttack, and that actually really always mesmerized me. How Cuttack city was earlier, not now. And we used to walk along the city, and narrow streets and all that. That's what fascinated me. And slowly in during my architecture also, my inclination was towards planning, and then I did my masters. And frankly speaking, when I was doing my master, I didn't know that, I thought there will be I will be developing master plans, these that is what typically planners do. But I never thought of, working in this particular line, which is mobility, sustainable mobility, which I started in very later stage in my job, when I shifted to Gurgaon. You know, I must say that Gurgaon is one of the most unsustainable city in India, because when I shifted, there was no public transport in Gurgaon. There was zero public transport. There was only thing was the diesel auto rickshaws. That time there was no e-rickshaw, there was no metro, nothing. And when I shifted to Gurgaon, I don't I don't like driving a car. And what I thought, how I'm going to move in this city, because earlier in Delhi there was some kind of public transport, like there were buses. That time there was metro also. So Delhi we didn't dependent on a vehicle, but in Gurgaon we become a dependent on a vehicle. And I was thought, oh my god, this is like this is a problem. So I bought a cycle, and I started cycling around, and I realized that how unsafe it is, you know. And from there, the journey started. Can we do something to promote cycling? Can we do something to build safe infrastructure for pedestrians and cyclists? And from there, uh, you know, 5, 6 of the like-minded people came together, and we started working on sustainable cities.
You give such a beautiful example. My question to you is what makes a city sustainable? What are some of the key factors?
One is like, you need to focus on, like, many things actually to make this sustainable but in the urban context. First of all is your transportation. As I said, your you need to move towards more walking, cycling, and public transport kind of development. Like, that is what is the essential part, first part, because that linked to many things actually. As I said, that one street redevelopment has reduced your flooding, reduced your heat, reduced your waste management, like, reduced waste. So there are multiple things to it, but transportation is the key actually. when we are talking about sustainable cities.
And do you think today's policies are enough or stringent enough to have sustainable cities in India, especially in a developing nation like India?
We have a lot of policies, but policy doesn't mean implementation, right? What we need is political will to implement those policies. We have nice policy. We have NUTP guidelines where we said we need to move people, not vehicles. We have a lot of electric mobility policy now. Of course, there are missing thing is that public transport. I must say, it is somewhere it vanished in India. For example, buses. Buses are the lifeline for a city. Thankfully, Bhubaneswar is doing very well in buses, but cities has forgotten. That how buses are the lifeline for the city. From A to B, like I can walk from my home just 200 meter and board a bus, and I can go to my destination. But somehow in last few years there was no much discussion in buses. But finally PME bus seva is there, and we are getting 10,000 buses, but that is not enough. But I think we need strong political will for this.
That is so true. I also believe we need a lot of collaboration. Do you think the private sector is ready for collaboration to work with the government or local NGOs or local communities to create that kind of a viable option?
There is some kind of collaboration, but again I think we need to do a lot more. The city I live in, Gurgaon, there is a lot of collaboration. Actually, private sectors are basically working hand on hand with the government departments and the civic society group there. NESCOM is working closely with the civic society group there and government there, and voicing out for such kind of development, especially when it comes to public transport. But I think we need, again, in that particular area also we really need to do more. Yeah, there is a lot of gap right now, and we have a lot of scopes, and we have a lot of opportunity.
Could you tell us more about these scopes and opportunities?
So, for example, there are big corporates there. How we can, talk to, how we can work together with that corporates to move towards sustainable mobility. For example, reducing the private use of, reducing the use of private vehicles in that particular corporates. How we can promote more walking and cycling in those sector. Also, how we can have a network of public transport among this private sector also. So there is a lot of scope.
But are we looking at taking these scopes and making it work? Or no? Like
Of
you said, there's no
course,
political will.
we need to develop that political will. There is some political will now, but we need to do more, as I said, especially in city level. You know, right now also the focus is building more roads in the cities.
True.
Okay, how can we have more flyovers? Why can have more cycle, underpasses, instead of talking about how we can have a accessible, beautiful, nice walking and cycling infrastructure, and also having nice, beautiful AC buses, and which is affordable. So I think city especially, because urban is very state and city specific. So we cannot always, it has to be the city governments will power to come out with a robust, resilient planning, uh, in this particular sector.
One of the best examples I can think of when it comes to reclaiming public spaces is the Rahagiri. It is a movement that you have created. Now, what was the key goal that you had with Rahagiri, and what was the story behind starting it?
Okay, so the goal behind Rahagiri is to create healthy city. Because people were not able to understand why we need it. So we thought of demonstrating it. We need to demonstrate it. And when we said that, 80% people in the city either walk or cycle because they cannot even afford your share auto rickshaw, forget about public transport, forget about metro. No one believed it. And then we thought of, let's demonstrate it. let's demonstrate that how many people are willing to adopt this, in their daily lives. So Gurgaon, again, as I said, four, five of us came together, and actually, long back, I attended this Ciclovia in Bogota, from where we got inspired, and started Ragiri. So they started 40 years back, in exactly because of the same reason, because there was high pollution, high road traffic. In Bogota also, there was no robust public transport system, or no safe infrastructure. So they also started with the same concept, like with the same vision and same objective, that to create Bogota as most walkable and sustainable city. So in with the same thing, why can't we do something like what Bogota is doing? And I some this clips of Bogota and Ciclovia. We took that video to the district administration and the police there, and they also saw, and they are like, "Oh, let's do it." No, they didn't say no, but the challenge was, how can we block a road? We can, why not? Even at least for few hours we can. And they agreed, and it was 17th November 2013 morning. So it's quite cold in Gurgaon, and we thought if 2,000 people comes, like our whole agenda is, like we achieved our goal. But 10,000 people turned up in the first Rahagiri. And it was like, wow, the street was full of people, people with wheelchair, people with their pets, toddlers all around, and, kids skating, cycling. It was like, oh my
A
God, this is,
festival. I
yeah.
remember it as a festival.
And see, this is what we need. Our kids need to come out from home. Already, we don't have any other public space like public libraries, or, public parks, etc., etc. So, street is the most important public space, and everyone should use that street safely. That is what all about Rahagiri.
How has Rahagiri changed urban perspective about life? You would know more. What are some of the success stories?
There are a lot, actually. From one city to 90 cities across India, where Rahagiri or Rahagiri kind of event happened. Also, many cities had started some kind of infrastructure improvement. Also, it unfortunately, it's like no stopped as an pilot, but it should have been scaled up. But the behavioral change that happened through Rahagiri has huge, huge, huge impact. Cities where we had Rahagiri, people started respecting cyclists,
True.
or many people had started adopting cycling, although for fitness and recreation, not for commute, not much for commute, but somehow we see a lot of cyclists now in our city. And there is where we have that, I think, what we call it, is breakthrough. And from there, I think we can actually see the real impact cities should have across India, like having network of walking and cycling infrastructure, but accessible, and also public transport system. So these are great impact. And one more thing I want to highlight is that, you were telling about your story, and youth, the connection with youth that we had during Rahagiri day, and how we are still working with many of them, is remarkable.
What is your vision for the future of sustainable cities in, say, the next 10 years? And how do you think planning is a key role? Planning has a key role to play in this entire process.
The key to sustainable cities is we need to stop building more roads. We cannot build highways inside the city. Of course, we need more roads for intercities and for logistic and all that, but we cannot have more highways inside our cities. What we need is streets inside, in the cities. vibrant streets. So the key is we need to have networks of walking and cycling infrastructure. I mean, we need to have robust public transport system, mainly buses. Also, we need to move towards clean energy, clean fuel, and of and electric vehicles are like the future. So we need to walk towards that also.
Invest
So
in that infrastructure as well.
exactly, and of course, we need to reduce car dependency in the city. Otherwise, the cities will crash for sure.
My last question to you, ma'am, is what kind of an advice would you give somebody who's planning a career in this field? What should they keep in mind?
They should listen to their heart and they should focus on their future, what they think their future should be look like. Do they think they should suffer like us with this pollution, and they do they think that they should suffer what happening in the city with urban flooding and garbage all over, or they were visualizing a city where they can thrive. That is what they should think. And there is a lot of scope, I must say, because there is very very less people working in this area. Still there is lot to do in, like, to change behavior of the people, because development doesn't means you know you are just destroying the earth. It has to be like, it has to go hand on hand. Development and economic and also social impact and environmental impact has to go hand on hand. So I think just listen to your heart and just focus on your future.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for coming and talking to us. This has been a great experience.
Thank you. It's nice talking to you. And I think we can find one of our old photos of Ragiri Day when you were a kid.
Thank you.
Thank you.